In this video, I'm going to go over the unpacking and installation instructions of the Kenisha base station and sensor system. What you're going to receive in your package, you're going to receive a number of these. This is the basic sensor, Kenisha sensor. You're going to receive 3 antennae for the base station. Base station itself, a set of pre-configured Ethernet cords. Typically, these are going to be cut to length with the ends already installed for your specific application for each sensor. And they'll be labeled for the sensor because we're going to test them with the base station and sensor. They are interchangeable, but we prefer you just use the ones that were tested since we know they work exactly at that length. The most basic mounting style for the Kenisha base station is 4 feet on the back of the box. Right, so when we install this on our structure, we're simply going to template it up. We're going to drill our 4 holes on each corner through the feet, and we're going to attach with our screws. If it's wood screws. If it's concrete, use Tapcon screws. If it's a steel bridge that doesn't allow drilling into the structure or other similar structure, we're going to use a magnetic mount on here on the steel directly, right? And that'll be provided in the kit. Now, this box can be mounted in any orientation. It'll work properly in any orientation. We prefer, if it's in an exposed environment where it's exposed to rain and drainage, that we mount it upright like this so that all of the connections are on the bottom. These are watertight, but just for a little extra security, better to mount in this direction. If it's covered and it's protected from rain, it doesn't really matter which direction you mounted it. There's no accelerometers or vibration sensors in this box that require a specific orientation. Now, depending on your local codes and regulations, simply using these 4 screws or a magnetic mount may not be allowed. This box weighs about 4 kilograms when it's fully loaded with the power supply gateway and other equipment that's inside of it. So if you need extra security from drops or falls, this box should be able to remain sealed for its entire lifetime of the project. So you don't really need to worry about making arrangements to allow it to be openable. You can install steel strapping across the top and attach extra screws if that's acceptable for your installation. You can also install safety cable. The one thing we do not want you to do with this box is drill any penetrations through the structure of the box itself, because then it won't be protected from ingress and water could damage the equipment inside. When you first get your base station, we're going to have the antenna disconnected. This is just so we don't have any damage in shipping. So the first thing you're going to want to do is you take your base station and install your antenna by removing the little antenna protectors. There are 2 colors of antenna. So there's a blue, a green, and a blue, and we're going to install them in that order for the specific wireless signal that the gateway is going to be using. So for the antenna, all we're going to do is install, thread them in place. These are waterproof connections, so just thread them in place with a hand tight plus just a little quarter extra turn to get it a little bit snug. That's all you need to do. So your antenna are done. The connection of the Ethernet cable to the base station, once it's already installed, we're going to take our Ethernet cable. We've pre-configured these with the ends installed in this is a watertight ferrule on here. So the ferrule is already going to be connected on the end of the Ethernet cable. It consists of the ferrule itself, a little rubber grommet that squeezes against the edge of the cable, and a cap. And most of you have probably seen these before. So what we want to do is we just want to make sure that cap is a little bit threaded before we put it on. Insert into the proper port. Make sure that this O-ring down here on the port exists because that helps get water out. If it doesn't exist, we'll ship some extras with your kit, and you can always ask Kenisha for more and we can ship you additional O-rings. And all you're going to do is thread that in place and make sure everything is nice and tug and hand tight. That's all you do on the Ethernet connection on the base station. The power connection on the base station, this unit's configured so that you don't ever have to open it. So, you know, it is openable. There are 6 screw places where you can open the box and troubleshoot if something needs to happen. But it's designed to where you simply plug in the power. After 3 to 5 minutes, the gateway will get connection on cellular signal to our servers, and then we can confirm, yes, it's on, it's powered, it's working properly. There's no indication outside of the box, so you just plug it in and it's good to go. Typically we'll ship, and this is shorter for demo purposes, but we'll ship a power cable already attached, and it's going to have a plug designed for the receptacles in your local jurisdiction and that voltage and power frequency. You can either use the plug that's provided or simply clip off the plug strip the wires, and connect into your mains through conduit or a conduit box. And that's all you have to do. Connect the power, turn the power on, base station's good to go. Your sensor units are equally as simple, right? This is the same type of ferrule connection. So all you're gonna do, we ship with a little protective cap, just a little dust cap. You do the same thing. Install the cable, tighten the ferrule on, and you're done. Now, we typically recommend that you attach the cable after you've attached the box. So measure out the length of your cable from the base station to the sensor install location. You know, give yourself a little tiny bit of extra slack, like an extra loop foot of slack, and then we're going to install this. The way these installs, there's two methods. For a steel bridge, to avoid drilling holes in the structure, this will actually come with a magnetic plate on the back. It's not shown here. And so we just apply the vibration epoxy couplant and attach it to the bridge magnetically, and that's the entire install. For a concrete bridge, obviously we can't use magnets. So for a concrete bridge, we're gonna apply epoxy couplant, just a nice big dollop right in the middle, and we're just gonna attach it to the bridge by these 4 outer holes here. Provided with your kit is gonna be a Tapcon drill bit, Tapcon screws, and we'll just take this sensor unit, place it on the bridge where it's supposed to go, drill the 4 holes, and then drill in our Tapcons. The orientation of the sensor, typically we want this to be level with ground, right? Now it doesn't have to be perfect level. Using a small level, and we'll provide one with your kit, is preferred, but we can self-calibrate afterwards. So the actual level location is not critical. But one thing we do want to know is where on the bridge you install it. That's number of feet and inches, or meters, centimeters, millimeters from the nearest identifiable feature of the structure. So we know at what point we're actually measuring vibration. Included in your kit also is going to be a glue dispenser. So it's going to come, this is the dispenser with handle, this is the push rod, and this is the glue itself. And then we're also going to include one of these mixer nozzles for every sensor that you use, right? So the way this works is we simply install the push rod from the front by pushing that down, just like that. We're going to install the glue into the glue gun, push our clip down, there, glue is done, and we're going to pull off the protective cap and put on our mixer nozzle. Now, when you're using this mixer nozzle gun, we're going to provide one mixer nozzle with each sensor. You can reuse the mixer nozzles, you know, these have a 20-minute pot life, but as soon as you're done using it, if you're going to take a break, simply remove the nozzle, put the cap back on. This glue is reusable. We'll provide more than one of these in your kit in case one hardens or dries, but these typically can be reusable until they're done, as long as the nozzle is not left on the glue. The one important thing to remember about this is when you first start drawing glue with a new mixing nozzle is to put a little bit of glue off to the side. Okay, so I've set up just take a piece of scrap paper, and what happens when we first push glue through this mixing nozzle, it might not come out entirely even. We want to make sure that we have a good mix, so we're going to use this just like a caulk gun. You can see the glue extending through the nozzle there. We'll just put a little dollop, about like that. First run, that's all we need to do. This is a no sag 20-minute epoxy, so it shouldn't drip or run too much when you put it on vertical surfaces. It hardens up in about 20 minutes, 24 hours to full harden, but you don't need to concern yourself as long as you're using either screw or magnet attachment method. So when we use this on one of our sensor boxes, right, all we're going to do is we're going to take a glue just like this. All right, you know, about a quarter or $half size, inch and across dollop of glue. Now all this does is make sure we have a nice, good vibration transfer couplant from the bridge into the sensor, right? So we're going to put that down. We're going to have drilled our holes already from templates. We're just going to press the sensor against the surface, and it might slide around a little bit, that's fine, and just drive your Tapcon screws in there, right? And on a concrete surface, on a magnetic surface, you're done as soon as you put it on. It'll dry in place. Long hold industrial glue, so we shouldn't have any problems with this over time. When you're done with your gluing, you can just wipe your nozzle. If we're going to go straight to the next sensor, just go ahead and use it. But we provided extra nozzles, so my recommendation, just take the nozzle off. We're going to put your protective cap back on, like so. And this second time you take it off, it might take a little break, but it'll come right off. Then move on. Use another nozzle. On the next setup, do the same thing. Run a little bit of a dollop out of the end of the nozzle on first use so we get good mix, and then we've got the sensor attached like so. That's the entire system. We just attach the cables after that. You know, the Kenisha dashboard will tell us if the base station is connected, if the sensors are connected, if there are any issues. We test everything in-house before we send it out with base station with its particular sensors, its particular cables, so we don't expect any issues. But if for some reason something was jostled in shipping, we don't get a connection, then we can troubleshoot for you.